Hoop addicts, welcome back onto the couch. You know this is your favorite place to spend a half hour talking hoops. And we're coming down to the end of the season, guys. The San Antonio Spurs are putting in work on the Miami Heat. I'm Akil Augustine. This is the Hangout. And let me introduce you to this week's guest. Of course, one of my favorite photographers, the man that photographed the original first NBL draft. He's the official photographer of the Hangout. You can always catch him at the gyms, the courts, catching all the great Toronto basketball moments. This is Ansel London of London Images. Thank you so much for coming out.
Oh, of course. Got to be here, man.
Wearing the Sun Ra shirt, still fighting all the hate on Twitter and Instagram. And
yes.
He's made a lot of bold. I love him for his boldness, the predictions. He comes back every week and lets the people know what he thinks and feels. This is Dan Gladman, the man who predicted San Antonio in 6, and then Miami in 5.
Waffles. And now here I am saying, forget about the whole thing.
Yeah, no more prognostication.
No, don't ask me for predictions.
And then this man, of course, you've seen him on the show before. You know him if you know basketball. I was very fortunate to grow up under the Top Gun umbrella of basketball players in Toronto. Last time he came on the show, he didn't dress like Gary Durant. So when I saw him at Real Sports, I said, GD, the next time I see you, you need to dress like you did when I was a little boy, coming to the gym, watching you in them pink flamingo suits. That's Gary Durant, one of the best names out there. My man, thank you for coming out.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Okay, let's get into it. Sweets is going to run the viz, but we got to start. I know you guys want to talk about Game 4, but we got to go back to where it all started. Game 3. My question is, okay, so the Spurs win 111. Okay, it doesn't matter the score anymore because it was just an absolute obliteration despite what happened in the third and fourth quarter. But I want to talk about that first and second quarter. Was that the best half-court basketball you have ever seen in your life? Dan Gladman, you're first because you're an old-school Lakers fan. Showtime.
Well, yeah, okay, that was very fast break-oriented Showtime. I mean, I guess if you're talking best half-courts, the Harlem Globetrotters were pretty good. And there were a couple times where I thought to myself, these guys are passing the ball with the precision and even the creativity of the Globetrotters. I mean, they were talking about it on the NBA Game Time, the post-game show, that how they pass the ball 6 or 7 times, and most offenses are 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't know if I'm ready to say the best ever, but the Spurs certainly look like, over their body of work these last 15 years, look like one of the best teams, the best organizations we've ever seen.
Gary Durant, I'll put my head on the block and say that is the best half-court basketball I've ever seen. What are your impressions of it? And to look at what happened, was there an adjustment that the Spurs made, or did they just say, we're just going to do our thing? Because, I mean, the tip passes, the ball rotation, the flip side on the basketball court, it's beautiful to watch.
I agree with you, Akil. I think it was wonderful, and I don't think there's ever been a better half of basketball at any level.
Hands down,
I mean, it was just beautiful. It was textbook. The Spurs literally put on a clinic. That's what you get when you have the same coach, who's great, by the way, for a long period of time, and you also have your core players. You name one team that the players, the superstars, haven't changed recently. There's no more Magic being a Laker, Jordan being a Bull. That's over with. Everyone's always running to go join their friends somewhere. That's not happening.
A la the Heat.
Okay, that's not happening in San Antonio, right? They're well coached. They enjoy playing with each other, and it is evident.
All right, now, Ansel, I'm going to throw this at you. I watched Game 3, and I'm like, okay, Game 4 is going to be a completely different story. We heard the guys on PTI saying this is just the ebb and flow of this series. It goes back and forth. Were you surprised at what you saw from the Miami Heat in Game 4? Mostly Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Well, yes, mostly Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, but at the same time, the way the Spurs played in Game 3, nobody, I don't even think Vegas even expected them to play that way in Game 4 again. Bosh and Wade make too much money to be playing that mediocre. That's flat out.
Testify.
They're making way too much money to be that mediocre. We know Wade's not feeling well. We always know that. But Bosh, I put a lot of pressure on him, and I put a lot of the weight on him as well, knowing that what he did in Toronto, why can't he not replicate that in Miami, especially Game 4? Yeah. I mean, Game 4. So it's like, it's killing us. It's killing us, but at the same time, it's a system. I can't hate against the system.
Speaking of systems, shouts out to Boris Diaw. I've mentioned this a couple times on the show, but in Charlotte, he looked like the worst NBA player available. And in San Antonio, he looks like the ultimate glue guy. Is he the difference maker in this series? Because we've seen him really impact how the game's played. They've been able to go to him in the post, and he's been able to spread the ball, and he's kind of been the guy who creates that fourth or fifth pass that you're not suspecting, Dan.
Well, putting him in the starting lineup to start Game 3 was another stroke of genius by Popovich.
Yes.
And yes, Boris Diaw was kind of out of place in Charlotte, but remember all those years ago with the Phoenix Suns with was it 7 seconds or less?
Yeah.
So he was part of that Steve Nash era in Phoenix. So he's got a lot of experience, and he's been great. Is he the real reason why they've been winning or getting open shots? No, because on San Antonio, it's everybody, and everybody's a part of it. He might be the point man in getting that last pass. That one behind the back particularly stands out. They showed it like 4 times on the ABC
they had a
broadcast.
Field day with that replay.
Diaw has been amazing these last 2 games, no doubt.
Okay, so we still need to talk about the Miami Heat. Here's my thing. I'm not sure LeBron James can do more for this group. I think he's played like the best player in the world. So my real conundrum here is, are we mad at Eric Spoelstra now? Because we've seen, we saw Rashard Lewis in the starting lineup. They dusted off Tony Douglas in the last game, and he couldn't even provide a spark. So where does the blame fall for the last 2 performances?
The other 2 stars, they're not picking it up. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I understand that, you know what? No. No excuses. They're back-to-back champions. They know what it takes. They know that they should be doing. Bosh, and I tell you, I lay a lot of the weight on Bosh. He can honestly do more damage in the post. But a guy that they went and got Ray Allen to take all the threes, but Bosh is like, no, I'd rather take all those shots. And this is what's happening.
You know what I mean? For them earlier.
It was.
Hey, GD, are we giving Eric Spoelstra a bye right now? Because no one's put any blame on him for the situation that his group is in right now, and he's the head coach.
To be honest with you, I'm not even so much. I'm more interested in congratulating right now as opposed to blaming. I think the Spurs are just that good. You know what I'm saying? I think the Spurs are just that good, that the Heat, you mentioned LeBron has played like the best player in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, he's played well, but unfortunately, LeBron looks like a good player on a bad team.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Miami
to me,
have fallen that far.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving the sports bar early. With 5 minutes, 7 minutes, I'm leaving. I feel like leaving at halftime lately.
Like a true Heat fan would. Okay.
I'm not a Heat fan. I'm wearing the red for the Raptors. I'm a Raptor
I'm taking
fan.
jabs at Heat fans everywhere. Okay?
I'm not a Heat fan.
Can the Heat win 3 games in a row against the San Antonio Spurs?
Absolutely
No
not.
chance.
No chance.
No.
No.
It's over.
It's over.
Done.
You know what? They might, but at the end of the day, Spurs are winning it, whether it be 5, 6, or 7. Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
let's back. Okay, you got
I
something?
was just gonna say, if this was wrestling,
Yes.
maybe. But in basketball,
Some people
and
think
if
it
it's
is.
genuine, and it's men out there going at it, the best team win, there's no way. San Antonio just simply looks too good.
All right, now I want to take a step back. Let's go back to last year, okay? This game came down to the 7th game. Okay, it really came down to the shot that Real made, Game 6, but how did it become such a different series? And I'm going to throw my theory out there. I look at the Miami Heat, and I see a team with 3 of the best players in the league. But the style of basketball they play, the ball's in those 3 guys' hands a lot. It doesn't leave a lot of room for everyone else to get better. You look at how the Spurs play basketball. The most important thing for the Spurs is Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, Patty Mills got better. For the Heat, a lot of times on the side, it's can LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh do more? For the Spurs, it's, okay, who else can we get to plug in? Is that a product of how they play?
Well, the mistake there is assuming that Wade and Bosh are 2 of the best players in the league right now. They are not.
Okay.
They had their time, but
Well said.
they
Well
have
said.
been
Well said.
they have been surpassed. And as some people were suggesting, they look a little tired mentally and physically. They've been to the finals 4 straight years. There was an Olympic run in there.
Yes.
It's been a very busy time. LeBron certainly, I still grant that he's the best player. But what the difference is, San Antonio did take steps of growth this year, especially Kawhi Leonard, who we've talked about for the last few weeks. He has elevated. He's only 22 years old, but I was saying to some of my buddies last night, if you were starting a team right now, Kawhi Leonard might be top 5 or top 10 now in the NBA, a player you want. So San Antonio has gotten better, and we knew it was happening during the year because Parker and Duncan averaged very few minutes
numbers came
comparatively.
down.
So I think San Antonio got better. Miami had an easy time in the East, but we now see the East isn't that competitive. And I don't.
Is that part of the problem? The fact that they probably didn't have a tougher crucible to go through?
I don't know if that was a problem, but we should have known the whole time that while they were cruising through the East, that wasn't a good indication of how good they might be.
And the Spurs were getting better and becoming more resilient
in a
and
tougher
more
Western
engaged. You know what I'm saying? And right now, what's happening is you're looking at a team that's engaged. You know what I mean? They're avenging last year. They felt like they had it versus a complacent Heat, who I remember not too long ago saying, not one, not two, not three, not four. Hell, we're about to win 10. Maybe 10.
Right now, it looks like not 3.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
We got more to break down. We will break down all the other good stuff that's coming out of the NBA right now, including rumors about, what's this? Carmelo? For real? You're going to add yourself to this list of should-be superstars joining up super teams? I'm not feeling it, Carmelo. You're better than that. We'll be back with more Hangout.